I saw sorrow in your eyes when I said goodbye, and darling, the tears that I cried. But you were the one who went and had some fun under the rising sun. Now you're filled with regret. You say you pay the debt, make me feel the way I did when we met. But I can't live a lie, even if I tried. Oh, but darling, the tears that I cried. Knowing you're wrong won't make it right. Love's a sacrifice. You don't throw the dice and turn out the lights. Knowing you're wrong won't make it right. What do you want me to do? Take your hand and say it's alright. Try and pretend you were true. Well, it's too late, and I must say goodnight. Knowing you're wrong won't make it right. Love's a sacrifice. You don't throw the dice and turn out the lights. Knowing you're wrong won't make it right. After all was said and done, you could say I won, and I rode off into the setting sun. But I can't deny, I still rely on the memories of you and I. Knowing you're wrong won't make it right. Love's a sacrifice. You don't throw the dice and turn out the lights. Knowing you're wrong won't make it right. Knowing you're wrong won't make it right. Knowing you're wrong won't make it right.
Hello, I'm Colonel Grayson. Tonight's story is about the Black Riders and how I met Jason Miller. It all started when Jason came into the fort.
Hey, soldier boy. Come back here for a minute. I hear tell you're looking for the Comancheros.
Maybe I am. Maybe I ain't. What's it to you?
Well, I've just got some friendly advice for you. Watch out, because you never know when the Comancheros might find you before you find them.
I'll keep that in mind.
Thanks, partner. Hygiene on the high plains is a very important thing.
He'll tell the authorities everything.
Well, we just kill him.
That's not a bad idea.
You can't hold me! You can't hold me!
The army tried to catch the killer, but he was already in the woods, well hidden. And after they passed by, he even came back to town.
Howdy, stranger. My name's Steve Banks. I noticed you helped that officer arrest that criminal.
He didn't need my help. I'm Jason Miller, and I believe in helping others.
That's a fine attitude to have. I've always thought that you should help yourself first. Or I'll be seeing you, stranger.
Good afternoon. I'm Colonel Richard Grayson, Fort Commander. I'd like to thank you for help catching the one black rider.
Your man didn't need my help. And what is a black rider, anyway?
Black Rider are a group of Comancheros, renegades, deserters, outlaws, thieves, cutthroats, you name it, and that's a Black Rider. By themselves, they're trouble. Together, they're unstoppable. We suspected that the one who was shot today, but we couldn't prove it. Now we're right back where we started. Nowhere. You may be dismissed. Yes, sir. Now, Mr. Miller, how can I help you? You look white, but by the way you dress, I'd say you'd spend some time with the Sioux.
I was raised by an Indian, Red Feather.
Chief Red Feather? I used to go hunting with him. Well, you must be Ishtu Blue Eyes.
Well, Colonel Grayson, I was raised by the Sioux Indians. My name was Ishtu, which means blue eyes. And there was a white man's cabin that I once went to investigate and see what kind of possessions they had in the white man's world. Some time ago, I met a white girl. We became good friends. She knew I was white and taught me of your ways. I wanted to fit in with the whites. One day I came to her to get my hair cut. Her name was Rebecca Hugh. Rebecca,
Yes?
I have made a decision, and I need your help. For years I have lived with the Sioux. I know their customs, but I know my real father was white.
Yes.
I want you to help me become a white man. I want you to take my knife and cut my hair
Cut your hair? You wish for me to cut your hair?
so that I can fit into the white man's world.
If it's this important to you, yes, I will. There. You're done.
Do I look white?
Yes, you do. Ishtu,
Yes.
I have something for you. My mother gave these to me when I was young. They belonged to your father. He wanted you to have them.
So Rebecca and I went on a canoe ride, little knowing this was the last day she would be alive. They just barely missed my head. I tried to get us to shore as soon as possible and check on Rebecca. I found out it was too late. She was dead. And that's why I'm chasing these guys. Why they killed her, I don't know. But I'm after them.
Prejudice, Jason. Most trouble started when one race thinks it's better than the other. She's probably was shot because she was a white girl being with an Indian.
I buried her near her house and then changed to white man's clothes. For days I tried to track the killers, but I lost their tracks on the rocks. While I was there, I found a deserted stagecoach.
That's a favorite trick of the Black Riders. They hold up a stage, take the horses, and all the valuables of passengers. Then the passengers have to walk back to town. By the time they get back to town, the Black Riders are long gone.
Maybe we can help each other.
I have a plan, but it will be dangerous.
If it will help me find Rebecca's killers, I'll help in any way I can. What is your plan?
Here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to pretend to enlist as a soldier, get to know the men. One of them is a traitor. If you can befriend him, he may lead you to the leaders of the Black Riders. I want you to secretly scout for me and find their hideout. Jason, I trust my officers. They'll bring information from me to you, from you back to me. Just my officers.
Yes, sir. I'll do it.
Congratulations. Sergeant Franklin?
Yes, sir.
We have a new recruit.
Meanwhile, Steve Banks, the leader of the Black Riders, had heard about a payroll coming in. He also decided to leave no witnesses by killing all the passengers on the stagecoach from now on.
That way, they won't be able to prove that we stole the gold.
Well, we're gonna split up the gold.
When I say so.
I want my share now.
You'll get your gold when I say so and not before. I hear there's going to be an Army payroll due tomorrow, and I think it would be a real neighborly if we paid that stage a very warm visit. What do you think, boys?
I'm all for it, boss.
Suits me just fine, Steve. I love that gold. Let's go.
So the payroll stage came through the next day. Little did we realize there was an ambush waiting for us.
Jim. Hold them off while we make for the store.
Me? I'm not gonna die for a piece of paper. You hold them off.
That's an order.
I'm leaving.
Man, that new guy Miller sure is a coward.
Well, no one wants to die. Better go check on him.
Yes, sir.
Trooper, hand me a rifle.
So, you don't think money's very important, eh? Case, old boy? Gold's very important to me. In fact, it's so important, I'd kill to get some.
You're crazy. I can think of a lot of good reasons to die, but gold is not one of them.
Chase, old boy, you got a lot to learn, and I'm just the guy to teach it. Next time you leave the fort, meet me at the Gray Wall Cantina, and I'll make it worth your while.
Miller, I want to see you.
Remember what I said?
I'll remember.
Did he take the bait?
I don't know yet. He wanted me to meet him at the Gray Wall Cantina the next time I leave the fort.
And you go on a scouting mission tomorrow. He'll over here and he'll meet you.
Then it's settled. And with any kind of luck, we'll find the Black Rider's hideout. Well, they had the payroll. There wasn't much we could do. Round up some horses, get back to the fort commander's office.
I want you to go out and scout those Comancheros.
Well, where am I going to meet you?
I'm going to hook up with the rest of the troop and meet you at Johnson's Cave later on.
Okay, I'll see you about high noon tomorrow down there.
High noon it is. Good luck to you, son.
Well, we got some old nags from a nearby rancher and headed back to the fort. Couldn't find anything in all the weeks we tried. Let's go out to the gate then.
Done with the stage, I want you to dump it in the gorge. Cut the horses loose and roll it over the gorge. That way they'll think the gold's lost down in the gorge.
And the next day they killed all the passengers. There was no gold on the stage. And after leaving them for dead, they decided to rob some more banks. Meanwhile, back at the fort, I was called in to go on a scouting mission.
undress her and go put on your scout clothes. Miller, I'll meet you in 3 days at Gopher Pass with the troops. Carry on, man.
I knew that Jim had overheard and would meet me at the Gray Wall Cantina.
What's the matter, Jay's old boy? Never seen me in civilian clothes before? Pretty nice, eh? Maybe we can get you some of these duds.
Who are these guys?
These are my friends here. Take old Jake here. I've known him since the war. In fact, a while back we had some fun with this engine and this blonde.
And it was then that I found out how Rebecca had died at the hands of these two men.
Jake, look over there. Some pretty white woman with that engine.
That makes me sick, just thinking about an engine with a white woman.
Hey, that's cool. I'll kill the girl.
That's fine with me. Engine, you're going to the happy hunting ground today.
They had just admitted that they had murdered Rebecca. It was time to even the score.
I don't like your looks, mister. You look too much like an ugly engine.
Jake, is that any way to treat my friends?
What you gonna do about it?
Sorry to kill your friend, but it was self-defense.
You're pretty fast with a gun. Maybe we could use you. But you better leave now. Those guys like little Jake, and they might try to take you on. Wait a second, boys. Hold on. He's great in the fight. We can use him. Sorry about the mess.
guys meet, we're gonna meet back at the pass. And I think Isaac needed to be taught a lesson. Yesterday I caught him stealing. And that goes for the rest of you too. See what happens to the one that steals.
Oh boy, it wasn't very smart of you to do back there. Those guys wanted to kill you. But I convinced them you'd be a good man to have in a fight.
Thanks, but I won't be bullied by anybody. Just who were those guys anyway?
Those were the Black Riders.
I guess I'm lucky to get out of there alive. That's not their hideout, is it?
No, that's at Arrow Canyon. You know, Jace, you look awful familiar to me.
Just to have one of those kind of faces, I guess. And as we rode, Jim started to remember things about that day. On the canoe, the water, the girl.
Jace, hold up. What was that Jake said about Indians, water, Indians, new?
Run! But you're not gonna be able to run far enough! That's both of them. I decided to get on a stage and try and surprise the next attack on the Black Riders. Don't anybody move. Cover 'em. Your hands behind you. Okay, I'm gonna tie him up. I'm gonna take this guy's clothes and I'm gonna sneak into camp. You take him on back to the fort. Tell the commander I'll meet him in a couple days, about high noon, 3 days from now. Well, what do you think? Think I'll pass for the other guy? That's his horse over there. It seems to be coming from over in those hills. I think that's where I'll start.
Frank. Where's the other?
Shot.
That fool Miller went by himself to the outlaw camp.
When did this happen?
He left him on the stage.
Did he leave a message?
Yeah, he said to meet him at Arrow Canyon tomorrow at noon.
Arrow Canyon? Right here. Sergeant Franklin?
Yes, sir.
Prepare the men for battle. We're going after the Black Riders.
Yes, sir.
So you're telling me the last man to see me alive was Jason Miller?
Jim said he was going to meet Miller and tell him about us.
Then Miller must be working with the fort commander. I knew that story of him was being a coward was fishy. You want us to kill Miller, Steve? When the time comes, I'll do it myself. Who's that man with the poncho and the bandana on?
That's Frank. He always wears bandana. Something to do with luck.
I know, Frank, and that's not him.
Hey, you with the bandana. Take it off so we can get a better look. Hey, guys, that looks like Jason Miller.
Guess it's just between me and you, Miller.
Well, I grabbed a horse and shot my way out of that camp. I had to get to the cavalry as soon as possible. And so I led them to their hideout.
Well, we broke their backs, and there were some that we missed. Our thanks to you for your help. It was invaluable. We would appreciate it if you would stick around for a while as an official scout for us.
I thank you, Colonel Grayson, but military life is not for me.
Well, then maybe you would like to join the Rangers. My friend, Captain Sam's, is here from the fort today, and is looking for some good men.
Sounds like it would be perfect for me.
So I introduced Jason to my good friend, Captain Sam's, and he became a Ranger. Well, that's another story. Adios.
Well, we're out here in the middle of nowhere. We're at Green Heritage Museum, as a matter of fact, and which we've been at many times before. And we had, of course, everything worked perfectly, didn't it? This is John Fisher and
Daddy Wags.
Daddy Wags. I know your real name, and I always know which one am I supposed to use.
Well, you can.
The old paranoia.
Friends use Wags, so.
And we consider you a friend, Walt, so go right ahead and call him Wags.
You mean for real?
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Give me a. Okay. Oh, what'd you say, John? We invited these crazy people out here to be in our new Western, and we wanted to know what the heck you think of it so far.
Well, you told us we'd be shooting, God willing, and the creek don't rise.
Oh, no, not bad. And the creek rose and rose and rose.
That was nice.
I smell an Emmy, Walt. Or I smell something. I don't know what it is.
I'm sorry. It's on my boots.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on.
I could not believe we went over to the riding stable we were going to go to, and it was a flood. And we couldn't use the horse that we had rented.
We thought we were going to do a kind of a deliverance canoe scene out there today, maybe.
Well, it was either that or the Ten Commandments, one of the two. We couldn't even get across the river. So we decided to come out here and do some dialogue and some craziness in this general store of ours, which we've used before.
I was born to be a bad guy, wasn't I, Walt?
From what I hear, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you guys ever get hooked up with our stuff in the first place? I gotta ask you, what was the first thing you ever saw of ours?
Well,
Gee,
I don't know. I think we encountered you the way most people do, punching through the channels real late at night, you know, trying to get the room to stop spinning before you go to bed. And there's, boom, Walt Peterson. You
There's
know.
like a test pattern, the Weather Channel, and the Walt Peterson Show. And of those three, I gotta say, Walt Peterson's the way to go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know. The Weather Channel is kind of interesting, especially when you're looking day after day after day, hoping and praying that there isn't any rain, and there it comes.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is, though, when the rain finally does come and the inevitable happens, the cable goes out. The Walt Peterson Show is one of the few things that seems to cut through all that. And the Walt Peterson Show seems to run no matter what.
Uh-huh.
What kind of hold do you have over the cable industry, Walt? What you got them in some sort of crushing grip here?
Which cable executive do you have photos of in a compromising position?
I
Anyway,
have a science baby. What you talking about? Copies will be available.
This is the Walt Peterson Network.
I can only hope they're as elaborately costumed as this production is today, Walt.
Oh, don't you love these?
Yeah. Did you stay up late last night painting those yourself? Or do you have flunkies that do that for you?
I do everything myself. Everything.
In the event that there's any kind of nuclear waste dump discovered in the area, we can handle it with our bare hands.
And we can handle it. Is that your slogan? We can handle it?
Yeah, can do. How far did you have to drive for yellow duct tape?
That was really a surprise to me.
Really?
As I told you, I was surprised. I went into one of the stores and bingo, there it was. I could not believe. We're using our stripes for the pants and everything.
It's very creative costuming.
And our wonderful BB gun.
You could put someone's eye out with that.
And I'd like to talk to you about my boots here, Walt.
Yes. We spare no expense. That and our squirt guns.
Troop K Swiss.
But
this was an exotic discovery that they brought from back east out in the on the plains. Yeah.
So what do you
plains,
think?
I say.
I wish that somebody out there would be kind enough to donate some money for our wonderful productions.
We were wondering about that, Walt. Where does the cash come from, anyhow? I mean, is that right?
Really?
You realize how much do you think you've got invested?
Why do you think I get $2 squirt guns and things?
So you'd call this as a labor of love for you, isn't it?
Exactly. It really is.
You're an artist.
No, my sister is over there, but no, I just it's like I just really want to do it. And when you want to do something, as you well know, both of you, when you want to do something...
Right, I think I hear the theme from Rocky coming out in the background. Walt running up the steps of the general store.
Well, is this a means to an end here? I mean, do you have some sort of a goal or...
Network?
Network?
Network is what I'd like to do, to be honest with you. I'd like to be making this for real. Movies or a TV show or something like that.
Have you shown any of this to anybody at the network level yet?
No.
Brandon Tartikoff?
No.
I think that's why we're here. I think Walt,
Star power.
Yeah, I think Walt sees us as his link.
No?
Yeah.
I really did.
Star power.
I always thought of you as just missing one. But other than that...
Fada boom boom boom, ladies and gentlemen.
It's the comedy stylings of Walt Peterson.
Samuel, be right out. Stay right where you are. Da, 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 da. Our phones are slow right now.
We were talking about that.
Have you thought about a telethon for the show?
Tell me about the radio station when we were We've all had some kind of crazy radio experience. You guys do it on QFM 96. First time I ever said that on the air. But
We'll say it again. It sounded so nice.
I guess I'll say it again. QFM 96.
That didn't hurt a bit, did it?
No.
What time do you normally on? 7 to 10, isn't it?
5:30 to 10. Well,
5:30 to 10.
Bright and early. But the first hour or so of the show is pretty much a write-off.
Yeah, really. You can.
Which just brings us to what we were just talking about. Didn't you tell me about that radio, about the records? Sometimes when you're sitting in the radio station, what were you saying a couple days ago? That's your cue flags.
What was I saying?
About number 5.
I didn't get this page of dialogue. I'm sorry. About number 5.
You had said that we'll give a record to caller number 5.
Oh, yeah. There you go. When you're in your early days of broadcasting, you find yourself on a station that is somewhat less popular than, say, the station we found ourselves at lately. And you go to do a giveaway and take caller number 5, and you get 1 or 2 phone calls, and then the phones go dead. It's embarrassing to have to go on the air and say, okay, you can call back. If you were number 1 or 2, you can call back. Usually we just keep the prizes. That's a little inside to the industry there.
Oh, I see.
We just pocket them ourselves.
I wondered, is it basically the philosophy of most of the radio stations to basically bribe their audience?
I think it's what it comes down to, yeah.
It's like, you want to listen to us? Sure, but we'll pay you $1,000 or whatever.
Well, it's kind of the American way, Walt. I mean,
The American way?
I've seen you hustle a cassette or 2 on one of your shows.
Oh, really?
So, come on.
People who live in glass houses.
That's exactly right.
What we really did, we've always done what we do, which is to help people out. And
people helping people. Yeah, that's beautiful.
But anyway, it is what we did. As I told you in the radio station some time ago, we started it 5 years ago to help out what we call local talent. And now I see it coming on, quote, the bigger stations, and it's some of the local talent giving, a whole minute or something. We give them a half hour to an hour.
Can I just say something right now?
Sure.
You have a piece of yellow fuzz on the end of your nose right there.
Thank you. Okay.
Once again, people helping people.
I didn't think you'd want that on there.
Okay. Well, I don't, John. But I think it's a good time to wrap up because this is
all that work we just did. You just screwed them.
Are we gonna have to do this over again?
No, I want to be Dick Van Dyke reruns on these videotapes. It's gonna wipe the whole thing clean. Fine, thanks.
Well, I think we'll go back to the studio.
That's enough right there. That's enough. That's it right there.
Okay.
And of course, everything worked perfectly. Yeah, sure. Okay. Where are you going to be?
I'm going to ride around and remember my lines. Oh!
Oh, yeah, well.
There's more cameras like that.
Chase, old boy, that wasn't a smart thing for you to do back there. This guy's wanted to kill you, but I convinced him you'd be a good man to have in a fight. Not with a horse. Come on, buddy.
Back just to my officers. You're not satisfied? You're up hard to please. You know that, don't you?
No, what you said was they'll bring officers.
Okay.
And this gentleman next to me is Ken Chafin. Ken has been forever, ever since I've started here. You've been in a lot of our productions. You were our Santa Claus in one of our productions.
Yeah.
It was our Santa Claus in one production. I was Santa Claus in one. It's like,
it was kind of fun.
Anybody else? Yeah, Tim Wood. Tim Wood was too. But you played Santa. You were our Captain Sam's. Originally, there really was another Captain Sam's, but he kind of didn't make it, so to speak. And what else was there? Of course, you were playing Peter more than once. How many times? About 3 times?
Boy, a lot of times. Dean, I was at the piano. I was the piano player.
Oh, yes. We wanted to shoot you several times.
Yeah, you should have. But, yeah, I didn't face the camera at all. They caught my best side at that point. But I think probably the best thing that I remember about that whole scene in there was when they had the shootout at the card table, and all the cards just kind of flew up in the air. And I mean, it was really...
Yeah, that actually happened. We had a scene in which we fired this blanks, these 22 pistols we had, and the blank had still such force that it actually knocked off the poker chips and the cards at the same time. I mean, you could just see them flying. And Jim Krieger going, thud. And that thud was a real thud, you know.
It was.
Jim did a good job on that fall, I'll tell you. Then you were narrating for us in a couple of the westerns. What is your favorite? What if you had all of the things? You know, you're actually one of the shepherds in one of our Jacob and Esau.
Yeah, I remember that.
Tell me about that, because do you remember how cold it was?
No, it was cold. It was on Veterans Day in November, as I recall, and we went out to Jeffrey Mansion.
Right.
As I recall, you and I and
Ori,
Orsiz,
and Jim.
And Jim Lusignola. Yeah. How soon you forget names.
Oh, yes.
Jim was a good friend of ours, and as was Ori. But I remember that day it was cold out there. We were out in that field, and of course all we had on was like those robes over our clothes, and it was really downright cold.
We did not want to take. You had your winter clothes already on. We put the robes on over the top of it. They were warm compared to what you were wearing with the winter.
Yes.
And there was this one green patch of grass. Why it was green in November, we don't know.
Who knows?
Thank God. But they were dressed in the shepherd outfits, and I had even less as Jacob.
Yeah.